Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar today. This is the FADE Business Systems Group and 180 Fusion co-presented webinar on the future of search engine marketing and customer relationship management, or CRM software. My name is Jesse. I'm the marketing director at FADE Business Systems Group. And before we quickly launch into introductions, I just want to say a big thank you to Scott Cohen and Sarah Lambrecht on the 180 Fusion team for helping us to promote this cool joint webinar. So we're really excited to be presenting to both 180 Fusion clients and prospects and FADE Business Systems Group's clients and prospects as well. So just logistically, everyone, you know, the microphones are all on mute. So if you have a question, there's a question box there in the GoToMeeting panel. We love GoToMeeting, by the way. This is the first time we've ever had any bizarre issues with it. So we're up and running, and we're happy to have you all here. So as you have a question, just put it in the chat box, and we'll get to those as we can. Just to put you on the spot a little bit, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, just, you know, CEO of 180 Fusion.
Sure. Thank you, Jesse, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. I am Scott Cohen and the co-founder and CEO of 180 Fusion. And our goal at 180 Fusion is to help our clients really focus on being successful from a digital marketing perspective, and really focused in three core areas. One being search engine optimization to help gain organic traffic through your addressable market. The second being search engine marketing or paid search on the various channels, whether that be Google AdWords, Google Display Network, YouTube, Bing, Facebook, Instagram, advertising, etc. And the third core area around social media management. And we've worked with the global leaders in the Fortune 1000 space. But what's cool is we've been able to bring that technology and discipline and processes down to also the small and medium-sized business market to help businesses across every major industry succeed online, and that gives us great pleasure. And our customers' success and growth has been what's fueled 180 Fusion to be one of the fastest-growing privately held companies in the country and awarded by Inc. 500 as well as Deloitte Fast 500 tech companies, and also just as proud to be awarded one of the top 20 best places to work the last 2 years. So with that, I'll also turn it over to David Fay, the CEO of Fay Consulting, to introduce himself as well.
Thanks, Scott. Hey, I'm happy to be here. Welcome, everybody. You know, I'll be brief so we can get into the webinar more quickly. But I'm CEO of Fay Business Systems Group. At Fay Business Systems, we help growing companies use software to help their businesses be more profitable and more productive, primarily through the use of CRM software, accounting and ERP software, and custom software solutions. We've been doing this for a really long time, for more than 25 years. And we're a lead partner with Sugar CRM. We're partners with a bunch of other ERP and marketing automation type software packages. Our company's been honored on the Inc. 5000, CIO Magazine, most promising CRM and ERP providers, and a host of other things. Really excited to be a part of the webinar with Scott. And Jesse, let's get rolling.
Great. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, David. So just quick intro. You know, today the webinar, it's here to help you better understand the evolution of consumer behavior and what that means for you. So this includes the new multi-screen world and learning how your target customer is using that technology to find you. So with that quick intro, after the presentation, you'll be armed, we hope, with some really great insights and some action items, and hopefully, some great questions at the end for both Scott and David. So with that, Scott, why don't you take us through it?
Terrific. Thank you. So, as business owners and marketers, our objective is to reach the right person in the right place at the right time with the right message. This objective really has never changed. How we do that is impacted by technology and consumer behavior. Three major trends in technology and consumer behavior are smaller, broader, and better. Smaller is the trend towards mobile. Mobile is all about mobile phone becoming the central access point to the internet. It's no longer an auxiliary device. People use it first. Just think about yourself. In fact, 80% of all mobile searches occur in close proximity to a PC or laptop. That means that people prefer the phones to get or share information, and we do this all the time. There's actually a term to describe the anxiety we feel when we're actually away from our phones called nomophobia. You can Google this. This is recently depicted in a Chevy Cruze commercial where a focus group pretended to destroy participants' phones. One of the participants reported saying she could literally feel her chest tightening, physical signs of anxiety at the thought of losing her phone. And we are on our phone all the time. Research validates this, that people check their phones an average of 150 times per day in 2015. 150. That is literally once every 6 minutes. And each session lasts an average of 10 seconds or less. These short moments are, I want to know, I want to go, I want to buy. These are all results-oriented requests we're making. Mobile behavior is fundamentally different than desktop behavior. It's faster, quicker, more immediate. I need directions to a restaurant now is just one of many examples that we all go through. The data supports this story as well. We see 20% increase traffic to sites, 18% decline in time per visit. As a partner of Google's, they've shared with us that they have seen the time viewing each listing on Google drop in half from 2 seconds to just about 1 in the last 5 years. So if we take a step back in the timeline and look at the evolution of mobile searches, 2014 was the big year for the transformation. At the end of 2014 in Q4, for the first time ever, mobile searches surpassed desktop searches in aggregate. Last year, in 2015, the number of mobile queries surpassed that of desktop in almost every industry vertical that we work with. And the mobile share is showing no signs of slowing. It is only going to keep rising. This trend is prevalent not only in the US, but globally with the adoption of smartphones. How many of you have heard the term mobile get-in? Well, fairly recently, Google launched a mobile friendliness SEO algorithm called Mobile Get-in. Google believes relevance to the user is of the utmost importance. So what the mobile friendliness change in the algorithm did was give higher priority to the websites that are mobile friendly if the user is searching on a mobile device specifically. And that makes sense because the user experience is ultimately critical to getting conversions. So if you don't have a mobile-friendly website or a responsive website, you'll certainly want to do it not only from a mobile conversion perspective, but on the forefront from an SEO perspective. So let's recap. Customers are mobile first. Micro moments are becoming, really in 2016, the new normal. And more searches are in mobile than desktop, and that trend's only going one way. To highlight this, does this living room look familiar to anyone? For those of you that have kids, I'm sure it does. The TV is on, but everyone's paying attention to their devices, their laptop, their tablet cell phone, etc. This is the reality of a pretty typical life in 2016. I have to confess, I do it all the time. My kids do it all the time. I'm always checking the scores during March Madness and now the playoffs in basketball, looking up information about the latest world events, etc. 66% of people in a focus test group look up information on their phone about something they saw in a commercial. This is the new reality. Now, for us as advertisers on our clients' behalf, this fragmented attention makes it more difficult. How do I know anyone is even paying attention to my ad? But it also represents a real opportunity to get to your addressable market. Just like I check the stats while watching the game, I'm seamlessly switching between multi-screens. I'm letting each screen inform behavior of the other. They're really complementary if you think about it. It isn't really relevant whether it's sequential or simultaneous anymore. What matters is that multi-screens influence each other and the buying behavior. The consumer behavior is not siloed anymore into one medium of TV or radio or print or online for that matter. 10.7. 10.7. This is how many different sources of information a typical shopper looks at before they make a purchase. Now, what we've seen at 180 Fusion across our varying industries of clients is that our research shows that the automotive vertical is about 18 to 20, whereas something like restaurants, it's 2 to 5 times. A much more immediate response for a restaurant than buying a high-ticket item such as an automobile. This is a lot of research before making a purchase. If you look at it from a broad perspective, on average 10.7 times different opportunities now from an advertiser perspective to influence a customer across these multiple different screens. Lastly, better. This is more efficient, high quality, sophisticated, and highly targeted to your addressable market. Even social media management gets complicated, right? Here's a list of 10 different social media outlets you can use to experience, in this case, donuts. And as you can see, for you millennials that are on the line, you're probably noticing we're missing Snapchat and probably another one or two that you're thinking of, as this market is constantly evolving quarter over quarter and year over year. And the beauty of it is, though, that you now have more options than ever as an advertiser to target your addressable market. But it depends on your particular target demographic, on where you want to be, on what's going to get you the best results. Each one of these platforms have applicability. As an example, if you have a business-to-business audience and selling a business-to-business product or service, LinkedIn is a terrific platform. We often find that if your target audience is moms, Pinterest converts really well. Or millennials, Instagram plays really well, especially with the updates with the Instagram platform, with being acquired by Facebook, now being able to leverage Facebook and Instagram as a platform. So those are just a few different examples, depending on your demographic, of how we can help there. At the end of the day, though, important to recognize Facebook is still the #1 place to get advertising results across the broad demographic. Now let's switch to the Google sphere. And we are going to spend a little time talking about Google AdWords and the display network on Google, as at the end of the day, Google's still the 800-pound gorilla in search, with pushing nearly 80% of all searches going through Google. With that, important not only to look at it from an advertising perspective, but also from being ranked organically from a SEO perspective, meaning search engine optimization. And what does that mean? What that means is your website to actually rank and show up on Google without paying to have it show up, by being two things: relevant and authoritative to the keywords and search phrases that pertain to your business. And when you do that in conjunction with running paid advertising, when you rank both on the first page of Google for your website, as well as you show up from an advertising perspective, when you're there in two spots, there's a direct correlation not only to more clicks, but most importantly, a 44% increase in more conversions. Think about SEO, search engine optimization, as owning the real estate on Google for your particular search phrases, and pay-per-click, PPC, as renting the real estate. So that's why you see companies such as PepsiCo or Home Depot, some of the largest brands in the world, rank organically, but while they also run paid advertising, because they know that when you show up on Google, you're going to increase your conversions significantly. So let's move forward. Better. To summarize, search is becoming more sophisticated. The web in general is becoming hyper-personalized. And the search auction is certainly getting more competitive than ever, as you guys are probably seeing in your local markets. So as a business owner, what do? On a high level, there are easy things you can do to shift your mindset and start to capitalize on the opportunity that this change has brought. Have a mobile strategy and a website. 40% of users will abandon a site after 3 seconds if it hasn't loaded or it's not easily viewable. Your bad website could be fueling your competition, quite frankly. 90% of the time spent is not on the search engine. Consider alternative channels for marketing. Think about the Google Display Network, social media properties, video, YouTube. 50% of people watch more than 30 minutes of online video per month, and that's a great platform to advertise on. How can these impact your customers? What is your customers' viewing habits and path to purchase your product and service? You may want to consider a cohesive multi-channel strategy that aligns all these channels. 62% of marketing professionals evaluate effectiveness by channel. Yet we know that channels ultimately influence each other. So having a multi-channel strategy is critical, and that's what we work with our customers on, no matter how small or how big, for their particular objectives and goals. And to simplify this a bit, we break it down into a fairly straightforward way we look at managing our clients that involves ensuring that they have every opportunity to capture every possible customer in an efficient way. In other words, we help our clients to be always there, always relevant, and always optimized. So let's take a look at what always there really means. Customers consider, they evaluate, they advocate online. However, as I mentioned earlier, over 90% of that time is spent on content sites, while only 5 to 10% of that time is spent on search. So an advertising approach that is always there across the whole web is critical. And what all these logos have in common on this slide is that they're a part of the Google Display Network. So that what that means to you is we have the ability to advertise through the Google Display Network to capture your addressable market. If they're on the Food Network or if they're on CNN, right? You have the opportunity to get in front of your addressable market. The power of professional ads ensures the right ad appears at the right time in the right format. In this case, as it relates to the device type, you'll notice the differences in the ad text in this example. The ad showing on the mobile phone includes the option to call the Starwood Hotel property directly to secure a booking, while the ad appearing on the tablet or desktop involves more of a two-step dance, where it includes more clickable links within the ad text to then go onto the website and do further research and potentially then sign up online. Whereas when you're on a mobile phone, what does Starwood want? They want that call, because they know you're not going to want to spend a lot of time searching around. And so what we do at 180 Fusion is look at ads specific to device type. Furthermore, with the explosion of smartphone usage, we have additional signals that could be leveraged from an advertising perspective to help us determine the best ad to show at the right time of day. So time of day is providing this additional input. In the example on the left, for Taco Bell ad at the lunch hour, the noon hour, is speaking to that audience, and then on the right, this search was performed closer to the midnight hour. So this ad speaks to the infamous fourth meal of the day, which I'm sure none of you have had, but maybe just think back in case you forgot in your college days where there was a Taco Bell near your university, and it's speaking to that university crowd and saying, you're out, you're hungry, stop by Taco Bell now, versus at the noon hour in a business park speaking to a business executive on the go. Very different advertising techniques, and if you know your audience and time of day, you can take advantage of these inputs, and that's what we do at 180 Fusion with our technology and processes, similar to how a hedge fund manages algorithms. That's how we look at search marketing there. You'll recall, as I've mentioned in the previous slide, consumers spend 90% of their time on content sites. So here's a great example of the importance of targeting the right audience in that space. U.S. News and World Report has an article, How Important Are Test Scores to College Applications? This is actually U.S. News and World Report's a part of the Google Display Network, and so we're able to run, in this case, SAT and ACT prep courses, very focused on that. And who's the audience to? They're probably advertising to the students and or the parents. Well, what a great opportunity to capture that before the parent or student leaves this article with this Princeton Review ad. And you'll notice in the ad at the bottom right, $150 off until August 2nd. Guess when we ran that ad? You got it, August 1st. Because we know that we may never have another chance to get back in front of that parent or student. Now, the GMAT ad, even though the Princeton Review offers that, probably isn't relevant, right, to getting into the college since it's more of graduate. So important to understand your audience and what ads you want to show. Now, let's transition to a little more sobering news. Unfortunately, the reality of marketing is that you can't win them all. And this slide really highlights that, unfortunately, in that 96% of people who visit a website leave without completing the action we want them to take. And for those of you that have e-commerce sites, 7 out of 10 of the people that are on your site abandon the shopping cart without completing the purchase on their first visit. But what that means is when they've all shown an intent and an interest in your business, so how do we get back in front of them knowing that it's oftentimes going to take 10 or 11 times of being in front of them before a conversion happens? Well, how we do this digitally is through the flow of remarketing. On the next slide here. So we see here this workflow is picked up through the cookies, and we advertise when they leave your site and they abandon the site. Now we can get back in front of them on the display network different times a day. And by the way, then your ad can show up in the morning when they're on their tablet, and we can determine, and you can determine through setting up rules with us on if you want this to be daily, weekly, monthly, so it's not too intrusive. You've probably all seen examples of where you've been remarketed to, and it's really quite effective. Here's a quick example of a case study that highlights for an e-commerce example of how remarketing can substantially help your business. If we go to the next slide here. So what we see here is that you have 2 boat shoes on the Sperry website. And this is a consumer that got all the way to the shopping cart stage and turned out to be one of the 7 out of 10 that abandoned the shopping cart after they pick out the products they want. So we know they had intention there. And maybe they left because they wanted to see if there was a better deal, or they wanted to see if they could get free shipping, or maybe it's just simply got distracted with something else that popped up. Whatever the case may be, we want to get back in front of this person who picked out these 2 shoes. So here's a great example of remarketing back to them in a targeted, fashion, in a hyper customized fashion, showing the two shoes and now offering them 10% off as a call to action and compelling event to get them to convert. And that's a great example of success we've seen from remarketing. So as we kind of summarize the front end here, Google provides the reach. 180 Fusion provides the front end guidance to help you with your digital marketing campaigns, to always be there, always be relevant, always be optimized from a search engine marketing perspective. And we've taken a holistic view to this to look at how we can look at the entire life cycle with Fay Business Services Group, to look at, now that you've filled the top of the funnel, how do then we manage through the important part of landing the customer, retaining the customer, and upselling that customer to increase the ultimate goal, which is the lifetime value of a customer, all of which will contribute to increased profits for your business over time. So with that, I will wrap up my portion with a couple challenges to you. In thinking about everything that I just covered in the last 20 minutes, I have a challenge for you. Over the next couple of days, pay attention to your own buying decisions and research. How do you make those choices? Remember that your own customers will be looking for you in similar ways. And think about how we can help you ensure capturing all those potential customers. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dave to now discuss the mission-critical customer relationship management components.
Thanks, Scott. That's great stuff. So normally I'm not going to read the slides, but we like this so much. So you've done all this great search engine marketing. You've done a lot of the things Scott spoke about. And doing search engine marketing without a CRM is like fishing for tuna with a big net, catching 1,000 fish and having no idea which fish are edible, which fish are toxic, or not even really knowing if the fish are tuna. And so that's our view of this, is you've done all this great work capturing all this information about customers, potential customers, prospects, leads, people interested in your products and services. Now what do? You've got all these people interacting with you on your website or calling in or doing the things that you want them to do based on your activities on the web and on your website. What do you do with all that information? So it probably is a good start. So we think one of the ways that you can address that is using customer relationship management software. And interestingly enough, of all the people who registered for this webinar, less than half of you said you are currently using a CRM solution. So it makes sense to start off with saying, what is CRM? And you'll see on this slide a lot of the activities that are going to happen based on what you've done on your website. And all these things are happening, and then in the middle, what's going on in the middle? What's the centerpiece of all this? Well, all the data that you get from search engine marketing has to go somewhere. And we're talking about names, email addresses, potentially phone numbers, addresses, places on your website that they've clicked, pages on your website that they potentially visited. All this information, phone calls, everything around your customers and your prospects and your leads, where is all that information going in your system? And so one place that can house all that data is in your CRM software database. That's a standard location for all this stuff can flow into CRM. Now, it makes sense to better understand where CRM is today and where it's going in the future to take a quick look at where it's been in the past. So historically, all of us that have businesses have had to track our customers. It's just, we all do it. We all track customers. And so back originally, what did we do with customers? Well, we probably put information in spreadsheets about our customers. We would put their name and address and phone number, and if they had an email address, we would track their email address. We might track some information about what products of ours they were interested in. things like that. We would keep that all in a spreadsheet. Then things like contact management software came out. So these were software packages like some things you may have heard of, like ACT, Goldmine. Those were two of the bigger ones. And some of you may be using those today, but those were the original contact management software. And that meant it basically gave you a place to put all your contacts. And that was about it. After the contact management phase happened, we went into this phase where, in addition to tracking contacts, we were also able to do some sales management and sales activity tracking. So if we wanted our sales reps to log phone calls with customers, that might go into the software. If we wanted our sales reps to log meetings, that might go in the software. If we had an opportunity or a possible sale, that might have gone into the software. So in addition to contacts, we added sales management. Then the next cool thing that happened in phase 4 was, in addition to contacts and sales, we added support management or customer service. So now, in addition to those original things that we talked about where we've had basic contact information, and that could be a company and all the people we know at the company, and then sales information as we talked about, now we're adding a customer service component to it. So people call in with complaints, that might get logged in the software. People might log in with customer service issues. Hey, I didn't receive my shipment. That could go into software. So support management, customer service was added as a component. Then in phase 5, we have our contacts being managed. We have our sales team putting their stuff in the system. We have customer service and support putting their stuff in the system. And now the marketing component was added. So we want the ability to send email blasts out to all customers that bought this product, or we want to send an email blast out to all customers who visited this web page on our website. We wanted to be able to track the web pages that people visited. All of that goes into the marketing management component. And that brings us closer to today. So phase 6, we have a little graphic in there for the cloud. And the cloud is sort of what makes this possible. The cloud is this place where everything can be accessed in one place. It makes it a lot easier to add all these different components to it. And so today, CRM is the central hub for all customer-related information. That's where we've gone to. We've gone through this path. We started with spreadsheets, had contacts, sales, customer service, marketing, and all of this is now ending up in one place. It's all ending up in our CRM software. The beauty of it being CRM software being the hub is it gives you one place where there's a 360-degree view of your customer. A salesperson can log in to the CRM software and not only see his activities and meetings, but he can also see, hey, what's customer service doing with this customer? Has the customer been calling in with complaints? He can see that. He can also see, wow, it looks like this customer has been visiting our website and looking at this product's page and that product's page. He can look in and see the status of shipments if our CRM is integrated with our accounting or ERP software. You can see under this customer, wow, that shipment went out, or wow, that order hasn't gone out. You can look in and see virtually everything he wants to know about that customer. Conversely, a sales manager or an executive in the company can look at things more holistically and see, hey, you know, how much business have we been doing with these customers, and how much did we do last year compared to this year, and all those kinds of things that historically you may have needed access to an accounting system for is now in this one place, the CRM software, that gives you access to everything. Customer service people can log in and see what conversations a sales rep has had. They can see where the person has been going on the website. With the CRM software, when a person fills out a form on a website, a salesperson can get notified immediately, hey, this person just filled out a form, call them right now. You know, on our website, we have a form on our website that allows people to request additional information, and immediately upon submitting that form, it gets routed to a sales rep who's able to email or call them right away. You know, most surveys have shown that, you know, if you're not contacting someone within 20 minutes of getting a form like that, they're on to the next person. So there's really the timeliness of it is critical, and the CRM software, that central hub, allows that to all be managed. It allows you to generate reports that shows people that filled out forms that didn't get contacted within 20 minutes, which could be a great thing for management. So in addition to providing real-time information and aggregating all this great data about our customers, it's also providing management information and reporting and analysis that you can't get from any other type of software. It really, if you're going to go to the effort of capturing all these leads on your website and investing time and resources into search engine marketing and retargeting and things like that, it makes sense to have some place to aggregate all the data so your entire team can see what's happening. So, in addition to the things we talked about, I mean, some of the key things that we've seen our clients get and from implementing CRM software. And when we talk about implementing CRM software, it doesn't have to be a big, complex, expensive undertaking. There's ways of doing it in a streamlined fashion to keep it simple. Obviously, there's more complex ways to do it that add more value, and there's everything in between. So, it doesn't have to be a big, huge undertaking. It can be a very straightforward undertaking that focuses on just getting you some key wins. Some of the ways that we've used CRM internally as well as with some of our clients is you have the ability to get information. For example, for us, we have a dashboard on our main screen in our CRM software that shows you hot leads. And hot leads are people that have gone to our website and have done certain things. And so that dashboard pops up on all the key salespeople in our company, and they know on hot leads to jump on them within a certain period of time, and we have rules around that. Other of our clients have different rules. Whatever makes sense for you. Different industries may handle things differently. But some of the things that we've seen from CRM software, some of the benefits that our clients have gotten is, we talk a lot about improved customer service and the lifetime value of a customer, being able to hold on to that customer. Well, the ability of having real-time data and that 360-degree view of a customer, seeing everything about them in one place, is huge for customer service people. If a customer service person is following up with a customer or the customer is calling in, it's incredibly valuable for that customer service person to have access to exactly what's going on with that customer in one place. And it makes the customer feel better knowing that the person they're talking to knows everything about them as they're having the conversation. So it definitely improves customer service, customer retention. The increased sales component really gives you the ability to have actionable information about your prospects. Again, when you're doing search engine marketing and you're generating all this activity on your website and having people fill out forms, people call in, people jump around on different pages on your website, unless you're capturing that information somewhere, unless it's actionable, it's really just a lot of activity. And one of my favorite quotes is from John Wooden, where he said, don't confuse activity with achievement. And I think in this case, it's very easy to fall into the trap of generating lots and lots of web traffic, which is definitely a good thing, but unless it's actionable and unless you're able to do something with it, at the end of the day, the value isn't as great. And so we've seen people who use CRM software, especially in conjunction with a search engine marketing campaign, to have great return on investment related to that, and they've seen a significant increase in sales related to those things if used properly. In addition, you get one of the bullet points on here is improved intelligence, which means you get all the data from people visiting your site and pages, and you can analyze that information and see which pages seem to be generating the most traffic, which pages seem to be the ones where people are spending the most time, all that kind of stuff. And that information is incredibly valuable as you tweak this. Because, one of the things that's really important to note, and I think Scott touched on it briefly, is that, it's not as if you do search engine marketing once and then you just forget about it and let it run. there's constant tweaking and adjusting that needs to happen to make sure you're maximizing things. And so in addition, with your CRM software, it's going to help you capture that data and let you know what kind of things can be adjusted the best. And lastly, in terms of this slide, I just want to talk about the efficiency and collaboration that CRM allows you. The idea that sales, customer service, marketing, and operations are all looking in the same place for the same information is incredibly powerful and really makes it much easier for everyone to do their job. It makes it easier to train new people as they come into the company. When new people come in, whether it's in any role, customer service or sales or operations, and they want to go, well, how do I do my job? Where's all the information? It's easy to point a finger and go, it's here. It's in CRM. And you probably can't see me right now, but I'm actually pointing at my screen. It's here. It's in CRM. And we've seen new hires, the new hire process be really streamlined in a lot of organizations because of a great CRM solution that has all the information in one place. And so that's really where we are today with CRM. As we evolve and grow, the future of CRM is really exciting because it does become, if it's not already the hub and the centerpiece of all software, it's evolving into that more and more. And really CRM is as much a platform as it is a software package because everything can flow into CRM. As CRM software becomes more powerful and has more capabilities, more and more things can integrate with it. And so we talked about your website integrating with CRM, but in addition to that, if you're using accounting software, if you're using QuickBooks or Sage or NetSuite or SAP or Peachtree or any low-level package or high-level package and everything in between, virtually all of those can be integrated with your CRM so that the CRM has up-to-the-minute financial data about your customers. In addition, if you have shipping software or you have specialized software for anything, it can all flow into the CRM. And the CRM data is available on mobile devices. So you can have salespeople out in the field with a mobile device and you're going to see a customer. And so you bring up that customer's information via the CRM application on your phone. And many CRM solutions have a button where you hit a button and it says, hey, here's a list of other customers and prospects in the neighborhood of that customer you're going to see, and hey, you might want to drop by. That's the power of CRM software, is that you can, through mobile, it can bring up people nearby you based on one of your existing customers, based on the information in your CRM software. You can pull up that customer on your phone right before you walk in the door, and it'll tell you how much they bought from you in the last year, what the products they bought from you, the last conversation you had, the last quote you sent them. All that stuff is available via mobile. Really exciting stuff that's happening. Some of the other things that are coming, and some of them are here and are only going to get better, predictive analytics, which means, hey, this customer has bought product A, product B, and product C from us. What do you think they're going to buy next? And the software can analyze buying habits and predict things to you and suggest conversations that you might want to have with that customer. Workflow management is really about helping route things throughout the company, and in addition to that, alerting you about things. Wouldn't it be great to get an email that says, hey, this customer hasn't bought anything from you in more than 6 months, or hey, this customer called in on this day and they haven't gotten a call back in a week. All kinds of alerts like that with emails can be done using CRM software. Really powerful, really important things as you grow your business. And lastly, user empowerment. The idea is that CRM software is not just for salespeople. It's not just for customer service people. It's for everybody in the organization. It's for everybody that talks to a customer. So if you have people in your company that never talk to customers, they might not be a good candidate for CRM software. But I know in our company, everybody talks to customers in the company. It could be the person picking up the phone. It could be a person, in the back of the office that doesn't see much. Either way, everybody's dealing with customers one way or another. And I think the idea is to empower users so that they can look at screens, see what information they need to see to be able to do their job better. And so that's the future. Just to wrap up, from a CRM standpoint, I just want to go back again to what I said initially, which is the search engine marketing is critical to driving demand for your products and services. It's in today's world, there's no better way to do it, and but doing that without some sort of component in the back office to capture that data and make it actionable really lessens the value of it. And we love to talk to any of you more about this concept if you're interested, and really happy to have presented CRM to you guys, and I'll turn it back over to Jesse.
Great, thanks, David. So we have a couple of questions. We'll get to those right away. The first question, Scott, is it looks like it's for you, so I'm going to go ahead and read it off if you're ready, and you can go ahead and answer it.
Okay.
So the question is, there are a lot of opportunities you presented today, and it's a little overwhelming because we're a relatively small practice with limited resources and time. So the question is, how do we even get started?
Yeah, that's a great question. And from a 180 Fusion perspective, we're happy to work with you to develop a phased approach that ties to your specific company goals and objectives, and just importantly, budgets as it relates there. So we can work with all sizes and ranges there. Some things you could focus on right away would be to ensure that your site is responsive or mobile compatible. If consumers are trying to access your site from any of the mobile devices mentioned in this presentation, you want to be sure that they have a good experience. Also, you don't want marketing dollars to go to waste, so you want to make sure you have an optimized search campaign. So understanding your own internal company metrics, where does your cost per acquisition need to be? What's your most profitable products or services that ultimately give you more confidence in determining your marketing budget, and we can help you do that and get really maniacally focused on your specific geographic and demographic client base, and then plan for the future to get properly indexed for organic rankings. It's really important to invest in both search engine marketing as well as search engine optimization sides of your marketing strategy, and there's definitely some simple steps you can take for quick wins right now as you continue planning and investing for the future.
Great, thank you, Scott. And the next question is CRM specific. So David, to you, there's a couple questions. First being, there's a bit of confusion on CRM on its own, as far as, is CRM software available on its own, or is that something that you are using only with an SEO package?
Yeah, good question. So CRM software can be used without an SEO package. It can be used if you're not doing any search engine marketing or search engine optimization. You can use it for keeping track of your customers, for tracking your sales team's activities, for managing customer service, for doing marketing management. One of the things that CRM software gets used quite a bit for is email marketing. And so there are a lot of email marketing software packages out there, as well as email marketing functionality within CRM software. And so you can use, if you want to keep a customer list in your CRM software and track sales activities and track different types of customers, you can do email blasts out of the CRM software targeting certain customers, and all of that can be done independent of search engine marketing.
Okay, great, thanks. And then the follow-up to that is about the mobile platform. So can you talk a little bit about that? Is it, I know you talked about it a little bit. I guess someone just had a little further question on that. Just, can people make calls from the mobile platform, and what happens when they do for the CRM?
Yeah. So most CRM software packages have a mobile component. We work a lot with a package called Sugar CRM, and so I'll use them as an example. And so they have a mobile app that you install on your phone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android or what have you. And once it's installed, it basically, you log in and it accesses all the information in the CRM. And so you can call up a customer from within the CRM software on your phone. You can click on the phone number link and it'll automatically dial that number. It can pop up a window if you want to type notes about the call, and it'll record the call back to that customer's record in the CRM software. So it's a fully functioning, CRM tool on your phone, and it can do as little or as much as you want. So if you just want it for phone numbers and to look up numbers and call from there, it can do that. If you want it to actually record that you called that person and put it in the CRM software, it can do that. And as I said, it has locator functionality. So if you have your location services turned on and you're visiting a customer, obviously it can map it to that customer using Google Maps or something like that. But in addition, it can do things like tell you all the customers near you, and you can go, visit them or do other things related to that. So it's really quite powerful, and it's getting more and more powerful every day. A big chunk of the development time and dollars for these CRM software companies right now are going into mobile. Scott talked a bit about the percentage of searches that are being done on mobile now and what people are doing on mobile, and really the CRM software companies are in line with that, and Sugar CRM especially. At least half their development time and resources are going into mobile development and making the functionality on mobile devices even broader. And that includes phones, iPads, whatever you've got. Hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you. And there's just one final question for you, David. How much does CRM cost?
How much does CRM cost? Well, there's different versions. So if you were, Sugar CRM has a version that's $40 per user per month. They have another version that's $65 per user per month. And they just have some different features and functions. So that's a broad stroke on costs. But obviously there could be more that goes into it. But that's an example.
Excellent, great. So for those of you still with us, we have a couple of offers up, call to actions for you guys. There, 180 Fusion has a voucher that you can get towards a campaign with them, and just reach out to webinar@180fusion.com. And from the FABE ESG side, we can provide you more in-depth CRM assessment at any time. So we went over. Thanks everyone for sticking with us. Scott and David, thank you so much for your incredible insight and your time today. And feel free to reach out to myself, Jesse Heller, and if you have a question for Scott or David, I can relay those. And that's it. Scott, thank you. Everyone else, have a great day. Thank you so much.